Hello, Namaskar, Vanakkam. CBSE with Sudhir, one shot revision series for CBSE Class 12 English. We've already done the last lesson. This video is on the Indigo chapter. Like I did the last time, I would do a quick revision with specific note points and the language I have used in those notes. Please make sure you note it down in a notebook, just the keywords, so that you can use those words in your answers, the short and the long answers, which would also come to the extent of about 30% in your question paper. I also will be doing some MCQs and some extract based questions, which will be competency focused, taken from various sources. Okay, and some of them made by me. Now, this story, as you know, as you have already read and understood, is on Mahatma Gandhi when he went to Champaran, right? That was in Bihar in the year 1970. Now, the important part, of course, you would have seen the explanation video, I hope, for a detailed understanding of what each and every line, the nuances of the chapter. Now, what we are talking about here is that this chapter is an excerpt from Louis Fisher's book, The Life of Mahatma Gandhi. It's a recount of Gandhi's first satyagraha in India, which took place in Champaran in Bihar in 1917. Champaran, in many senses, was a turning point because it told the rest of the country that here was a person called Mahatma Gandhi who had done something very significant when he was in South Africa, and is looking to do much of the similar in the similar vein, the satyagraha route, as far as India is concerned, on a much larger scale. What was the issue? The story revolves around the exploitation of Indian sharecroppers. This is an important phrase, which is why I have highlighted it. Please use it in your answers. By British landlords in the Champaran district of Bihar. These farmers were forced to cultivate indigo on 15% of their land. It was known as the Tinkatia system. You would have studied that in class 10, and surrender the entire harvest as rent. Gandhi's arrival, Rajkumar Shukla, is an important character in this particular story. He is a determined but illiterate peasant who persistently requests Gandhi to come to Champaran and help address the injustice faced by the sharecroppers. Gandhi initially is hesitant because he's not sure about whether he should go there. He has his doubts due to prior commitments. Eventually agrees to visit Champaran after Shukla follows him relentlessly. He does not give up. So the persistent side of Rajkumar Shukla is another facet of his personality that you should make a note of. Note karo notebook mein. Gandhi's strategy. Gandhi employs a non-violent, non-cooperation approach. So you see the non-cooperation movement, which was launched in 1920. He started doing the test run. It's almost like Champaran is almost like a trial run. Let's see whether it actually works. The whole theory of I will not cooperate with you because I don't believe what you're saying is really the just way of delivering justice. So I don't cooperate with you, but I will be non-violent. It's not as though I will indulge in any form of verbal or physical violence. So that was Gandhiji's motto. So he employs a non-violent and a non-cooperation approach to challenge the British authorities and in order to support the peasants there. What does he do? He gathers evidence. Gandhi diligently investigates the situation, collecting testimonies or depositions. Depositions is the word used in the story. It basically means testimonies from different peasants by as many as 10,000 peasants to build a strong case against the landlords who were seen as exploitative. The second part is civil disobedience, that he defies a British order. He says, no, I am not going to follow this, to leave Champaran, prompting a mass gathering of peasants in support of him, demonstrating their newfound courage against the British. So this is a turning point as far as the Champaran struggle is concerned. Then the legal action, that Gandhi convinces the lawyers to use evidence to challenge the landlords. Faced with mounting pressure, the landlords agreed to make refunds to the peasants. Now, what were the outcomes of the Champaran struggle? This part is important. This one and the significance of Champaran. One, it led to empowerment of peasants, right? I hope this revision is proving to be useful because it kind of refreshes your memory. It tells you these are the salient points that you need to bear in mind as far as Indigo chapter is concerned. The peasants overcome their fear of the British. Now that's an extremely important thing, that you are no longer scared of the rule of the British because you are managing to defy it, and defy it by how? By a non-violent method, by a non-cooperation method, and very importantly, in the strength of numbers. Key, everybody united we stand. That's the motto. And gain a sense of agency. Agency means a sense of purpose, realizing that they have rights and they can fight for them. Land reform. The British planters eventually abandoned their estates, which revert to the peasants. Indigo sharecropping disappears from Champaran. Gandhi's transformation. The Champaran episodes is a turning point in India's freedom struggle and in Gandhi emerging as a leader of the Indian independence movement. Not a leader, the leader of the Indian independence movement. He realizes the power of non-violent resistance, and his commitment to social justice strengthens. Now, what's the significance of Champaran? The genesis of Satyagraha, that he manages to see that, okay, Satyagraha can work in India. Okay, so it marks the first successful Satyagraha. Satya means truth. Graha means that you are doing something in the quest of truth. And it lays the groundwork for Gandhi's future movements for independence, be it non-cooperation, civil disobedience, or Quit India movement in 1942. It's a model for social change because it demonstrates the effectiveness of non-cooperation and peaceful protest in order to effect any kind of social and political change. And Gandhi's leadership gets emphasized. Okay, it gets strengthened. Its leadership in Champaran establishes him as a champion of the oppressed, the people who are suffering, and a leader of the Indian people in the independence movement. I hope this is clear. This kind of gives you a gist. Of course, it goes without saying that you need to read the text multiple times before your exams, but this gives you a gist that these are the mota points that you need to keep in mind. Use this kind of language in order to make your answers read better. Now, let's look at some multiple choice questions. Champaran became a landmark in India's struggle for independence because it marked the first time that Gandhi used a legal framework. Well, he did use a legal framework, but that's not why it became a landmark. It was Gandhi's first direct action in India and demonstrated the power of non-violent protest. That's the point I have emphasized in the notes. It was the first instance where peasants won complete independence from British oppression. Yes, correct, but that will not qualify to be called a landmark. Please remember, at least 3 of the 4 options that will be given to you will be extremely close to you, in the sense that those 3 or sometimes even 4 options, all of them would have happened, but you need to see this particular question and what is it that it's asking. It's talking about a word called landmark. Landmark is something big. It's not just about any other incident. It's talking about something which made a major change in India's quest for independence. It highlighted the economic exploitation of landlords but failed to achieve any significant results. So the correct option is B. Based on Indigo, which of these was a direct consequence of the Champaran civil disobedience movement? Civil disobedience means your civil society is disobeying the rule of the British. So, which of these was a direct consequence? The British were defeated and had to quit the country? No, obviously not. The farmers were empowered and realized their own worth. Champaran became famous and known to the rest of the world. That happened. But is that what you're talking about? Gandhi became known as a great writer and campaigner of human rights. Well, human rights is not what we are talking about. He did become famous, but not as a writer and a campaigner of human rights. So the correct option would be option B. In Indigo, why did Gandhi accept only 25% of the refund for the farmers? Because the fight was never about money, but about prestige and peasant rights. Because the fight would be tiring for everyone, so taking the offer would be smart. Because the farmers feared retaliation from British officials and even stricter laws. Because the farmers were fearful of getting nothing at all if Gandhi refused their offer. So the correct option would be option A. In smaller localities, the Indians were afraid to show sympathy for advocates of home rule. If you see, this is on the left-hand side page of your chapter. Which of these can be inferred about the Indians described in the above line from Indigo? They were not followers of Gandhi's philosophy. They believed that the British were doing a good job. They could not predict how the British would respond. They thought that their support would do little for Gandhi. So when you're talking about that in smaller localities, people were scared. There was a sense of apprehension whether they should show sympathy and in some way tacit support for those people who were advocates of home rule, this thing. So it would be, they were scared about how the British would respond. Let's look at some extract based questions. I would want you to go through the extract. Okay, I'm not going to read it out. I'll give you 20 seconds to quickly read the extract. I hope you are seeing this on 1.5x speed, so that let's do it as soon as possible. We don't have a moment to waste. Right? I hope you have read it. So choose the option which is not the synonym for deadlock. Deadlock means kya matlab? That when both sides are adamant and you're not able to arrive at some kind of a compromise. So impasse means the same. Standoff also means the same. Stalemate also means deadlock. So the correct option, which is not, is forfeit. I said in the last video also, please always be very careful whether the question is asking you to asking you about the not option, the odd one out, or the incorrect option, because in a hurry you may miss out. And in CBSE there are lots of questions, so it is very easy to get confused. So just be very focused on what the question is actually asking. Choose the best synonym of adamant. Is it unsure? Synonym means the same meaning. Resolute, unconfident, or hesitant. The correct answer is resolute. Adamant means hati, that I want this. So you are resolute in your demand for something. Why was it important for Fisher to quote Reverend Hitch, J.Z. Hitch, a British missionary at that point in the chapter? Fisher was not present during the protest in Champaran. Gandhi did not know what was going on behind the scenes. The Reverend was the magistrate at that time. Gandhi was too involved in the negotiations to notice. So the correct option is both 1 as well as 2, because Gandhi was obviously not aware. So the correct option is option A. Which best means the same as deceitfully extorted. Deceitfully extorted means to be taken away. Deceitfully means in a manner which is not really 100% honest. Compassionately forfeited? No. Generously disposed? No. Considerately donated? No. Fraudulently coerced. Coerced means again to be taken away by force. Fraudulently means by cheating. So the correct option is D. Which adjective best suited Gandhi? Impatient, dedicated, clumsy, and inspirational. You can very easily make out that it's definitely not clumsy. So straight away option B and option D get eliminated. Always follow the theory of elimination. Eliminate the distractors, eliminate the incorrect choices. Always to cross check. Don't say okay मुझे A ठीक लगता है तो मैं A पे टिक मार्क कर देता हूं. B, C, D को हमेशा देखो. Always see those 3 options. So which adjective suited Gandhi best? So in my opinion it will be 2 and 4, which would mean option C. Yes. Second extract based questions. Please go through this quickly. Read it in 20 seconds and then I will. Okay, it's not fitting into the same page. I will roll it down in 10 seconds. Okay, chalo. The word advent means an undertaking involving chance, risk, or danger, an exciting, unusual, maybe dangerous experience. The introduction of a new idea. Advent means something new. You're starting something new. So the introduction of a new idea. Answer C. Why was Gandhi the sharecropper's champion? Why was he hailed as a champion of the sharecroppers, because he took up the cause of the sharecroppers, because he did not agree to leave Champaran, because he fought for Indian independence, or because he was against untouchability. One of the questions which I have not included in this, but I explained it in detail in the video, is about the untouchability. Remember that particular poignant moment where he's actually, that whole well water thing. So just also ensure that you include in your preparation, in your revision, that whole part about the untouchability thing. I think I've missed out in these questions. I should have probably included a question on that. So here the correct answer is A. Choose an adjective that describes Gandhi in this extract: creative, generous, visionary, and timid. It's C. The lawyers were overcharging the sharecroppers. This means that the lawyers were impressed by the sharecroppers. No, they were indifferent. They respected the sharecroppers. The lawyers cared for them. So answer B. Which best means the same as chided. Chided means to scold. Reprimand, endorse, sanction, applaud. The correct answer is reprimand. I have come to the conclusion that we should stop going to law courts. Why did Gandhiji say so? Because the lawyers are extracting huge amounts from the prisons, because the sharecroppers are crushed and fear-stricken, because the sharecroppers accepted Gandhiji as their champion, or is it none of the above? The correct option is B. They are crushed and fear-stricken because they were kind of not getting their due. A is not the correct answer. The third extract, just go through this and then I will go through the questions. Give you 15 seconds to read the extract and then we will go through this. You're going to get a large number of case-based questions. So just ensure that you practice enough on these kind of questions. And as I said the last time, there are these two books which I found the best available in the market. This one is by Oswal, which is the question bank. You can either look at this or you could look at this, which is also for English core, which is also going to be useful for your CUET exam. If you are planning to give that, you could look at either one of them, because this will have revision notes plus a whole lot of questions, including PYQs. So that would be useful. So you can look at this, go to oswalbooks.com, use my author discount coupon code if you wish to get an extra additional discount of 10%. Okay, this is not on Amazon, but on oswalbooks.com. Okay, let's go ahead with this. Okay, I've written the answer. I select the option that this thing. The authorities were puzzled. They asked the prosecutor to request the judge for more time. So is 1 the effect of 2? इसमें confuse होने के chances है. So read them very carefully. Is it 1 is a cause of 2? 1 is true, but 2 is false. 1 furthers the meaning of 2. So the thing that I would say is that in any assertion reasoning kind of questions, first thing you need to see is whether both statements are true or false, or whether 1 is true and 1 is false. See that, then see if there is a connection, or if one follows the other, that 1 is the cause of the other. In this case, 1 is the cause of 2. Select the proverb that sums up the essence of the above extract. Barking dogs seldom bite, beggars can't be choosers, a spark can start a great fire, a bird in hand is worth 2 in the bush. So these kind of idioms and phrases which come, so you need to ensure that you understand the meaning of these idioms. अगर इन idioms के मतलब में confusion हो जाएगा, if you do not understand the meaning of these phrases, then it is quite possible that you could go wrong. So it's essential, and these are not complicated idioms. Class 12, you should be aware of the meaning of all these idioms. The correct option is C. According to the extract, which of the following is not true? The revolting farmers had burned black the town of Motihari. No, is not true. The protest by the revolting farmers had perplexed the government. The bank officials banked on Gandhi's support. Yes, the revolting farmers proved to the officials that their authority was not absolute. So these three are actually true. So which means it's asking not true. So the first one, because they're not burned black the town of Motihari, A. Now let's look at some question and answers. I've written the answer. Now these, you would get 30% of the paper in form of these Short, earlier it used to be 40%. This year it's going to be lesser number by 10%. So fewer number of short answers and long answers and questions, but they would come. So I've picked up a few so you could have a look at it. So the peasants got a compensation of 25% from the British landowners, yet Gandhi considered this to be a victory. Why? This is a previous year question. Gandhi believed that the amount of compensation was less important than the fact that the landlords had been obliged to surrender part of the money and with it part of their prestige. Very important. You need to highlight that it's not just the money. Unki ijjat bhi gayi ki that they had to actually refund part of the money. This emboldened the peasants and now they realized that they had rights. They learned courage. Why did Gandhi refuse to let Charles Andrews help Indians? Gandhi refused to let Charles Andrews, who was an English pacifist, to help Indians because he wanted them. Now, this is again an important element in the story because he wanted Indians to be self-reliant. He believed that Indians should not seek a prop in Andrews because he was fair-skinned, because he was a foreigner, a non-Indian, because he happened to be an Englishman, and any help, however well-intentioned, was a sign of weakness. So he wanted this entire Satyagraha movement to be led by Indians, to be fronted by Indians, so that it kind of instills a sense of self-reliance and independence. The author wrote his was not a loyalty to abstractions, it was a loyalty to living human beings. Explain. Now, unless you have read the text very carefully, you will wonder iska matlab kya hai, because it's a slightly abstract sentence, which is why I insist, please go through the text. Please listen to my explanation video at 1.5x speed. Take down the short notes. Some of the short notes are put on the Study with Sudhir Instagram page reel. So you would get something from there. By word meaning, you need to listen to the explanation video. So the author means to say that Gandhi was not wedded to an abstract, means he was not completely involved with an abstract idea about helping. He applied the thought to practice and his brand of politics was intertwined with the practical problems of an area, which is what is mentioned in the second half of the story. In the case of Champaran, he tried to alleviate the distress of the peasants by working on problems of health, education, sanitation, and improving their life in general. In this manner, he tried to make a difference and not merely restrict it to defiance against the British. So it was not just about defiance, it was also about improving the lot of people in the area of Champaran in this particular case. I hope this video proved to be of help. It helped you revise the chapter. It helped you understand what kind of questions can possibly be asked. It could be MCQs, extract-based question, as well as the short and long format questions and answers. So please do look at it. As I said, you could take the help of this book for many more such questions, but please do make sure that you read the text at least 1 or 2 more times and go through the explanation so that you have no doubts as far as this particular chapter is concerned. I'll see you in the next video. Subscribe to the channel and share the video. Tata, bye-bye.